So, there's been a take going around the internet about Brand New Day, and it's all related to Sadie Sink's character. So, if you have not seen the movie, get off, because I have to talk about spoilers, right? Anyways, Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey, as I bet all of you know by now. And there's been a large debate of, is she too evil in this movie? Because she does do a lot of evil things in the movie. And I'm going to talk about the two main ones. There's other ones, of course. She caused a lot of destruction. She froze the entire city and presumably gave her trauma to them by the fact that Ned and MJ were crying in the final act. She did some bad stuff. Tried to kill Bill Metzger and other people. Yeah. But the two main, bad things that she did was the rooftop scene where she took control of MJ and then assaulted both MJ and Peter, then threw MJ off a roof. That is one of the scenes I've been talking about. Then the other one is how she just threw a random old guy into ongoing traffic. Those are the two ones that people have been mainly talking about. And yes, they're bad actions. But that doesn't make someone a bad person, I would say. I think Jean Grey is a morally gray person who has done bad actions, which, yes, you can do bad things as someone who is morally gray. Morally gray does not mean you're neither bad or good. You can be a good person and be morally gray, and be a bad person and be morally gray. It works the same way. Anyways, but yeah, I think Jean actually relates to the Punisher more than anything. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that the Punisher, he's killed dozens and dozens of people throughout all the shows and projects he's appeared in, which is bad. I mean, yes, he's killing bad people, but, under the law, it's still murder, right? So he's done bad actions, but I wouldn't call him a evil, irredeemable person, He's killed a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. He is a morally gray person due to his backstory, due to his beliefs, and due to what he actually does. Jean, I feel, is the same. She's not doing this to intentionally harm anybody, really. It's just, and of course, I think people excusing her actions, saying she did nothing wrong, that I think is wrong. She did bad actions in this movie, but I don't think that makes her a bad person. She's clearly someone who is broken over evil, right? She literally saves Peter at the end of the movie. The reason why Spiderman gets to live on is because Jean Grey saved him, But, yeah. I'll talk about one thing of how there are a lot of characters in the MCU that have been redeemed. Actually, not a lot, but there have been characters in the MCU that have been redeemed that people are, fine with. Have done a lot worse things than Jean Grey. First, the big one is Loki. If you can remember, Loki tried to murder an entire planet. In Thor 1. And then he tried to conquer Earth in Avengers. And that, in the Battle of New York, presumably killed thousands of people. So, but then he gets redeemed, and everyone's like, oh, he's one of the best MCU characters. Why is he not too evil to redeem? Objectively, he did much worse actions than Jean Grey. But he was able to atone for them and become a better person and do better things. That is why his redemption arc works. Because he's a bad person who then became a good guy, right? That is basically Jean Grey. Which, that's what could happen with her. She has done some bad actions, but just with a little bit of help, she can become a better person, right? She's just a much lesser example of Loki, too. Loki did much worse things than Jean. And it's partially because, I feel like this is oftentimes a thing that happens. People are treated, characters in media are treated worse when they do more personal actions to your characters. Loki killing an entire planet, people don't say that makes him an irredeemable. People should, but, they don't do that because how do I phrase this? Because we don't feel anything for them. We don't know any of the Frost Giants. We don't care about them, really, from the story. But people would have a lot more effect to, let's say, Jean assaulting both Peter and MJ, because we know Peter and MJ. We care about Peter and MJ, so it hurts to see what Jean did to them, right? So people are treating that as much worse than it really is compared to other actions that happen. You know, it's not just in Marvel, it's in a lot of media where more personable actions are objectively worse than other things. Like, assault, it's a horrible thing, but genocide, which is what Loki tried to do, is a lot worse. And I feel like people often miss that because one is more personable than the other. And, like, same thing about New York. The thousands of people who died, you don't know them. You don't feel for them. But what Jean did is very personal, right? Another example, two other ones are light examples of Iron Man and Wanda. I mean, Wanda did a lot of stuff around the multiverse, you know, got rid of an entire universe's heroes, or Earth's heroes, you know. And she also went to a terrorist organization because she had trauma. Like, that's not a defensible action. You shouldn't go to terrorism because, oh no, I have a side backstory. That's not really defendable. But she had a redemption arc and she became better. Then she became worse. Tony Stark is also really one of the big ones here. Tony Stark did some bad things. I mean, he made weapons that blew up Wanda's home. He sold weapons to criminals and terrorists too. Terrorists took his weapons and used them upon innocent people. But then why are we all okay with him being redeemed? Again, all three of those characters, I think, did worse actions than Jean Grey. But they got redeemed. Why are they redeemable, but Jean Grey's not? You know? So no, I do not think Jean Grey's too evil or irredeemable. Yes, she did bad actions, but I don't think she's an evil or bad person even in the film. Just broken more than anything. Again, doesn't excuse her actions, but it doesn't mean that she's irredeemable. You know, good people or broken people, morally gray people can do bad actions and then grow from it and become better, right? Anyways, that's my opinion. I don't think Jean is too evil. If you think Jean's too evil, that's alright. I'm gonna disagree with you, but hey, comment your opinion down below, and maybe I'll hear you out. I will hear you out, and maybe I'll agree with you. I don't know, maybe you changed my mind. Anyways, bye.